Hey everybody, it's Eric here with Spartan Autoworx. We had a call, or a few phone calls from a lady named Cindy in the Kansas City area. Was having an issue with getting her airbag module out. She took it to a shop, they replaced the airbags, came back with an airbag light. They told her needed an airbag module, take it to the dealer. She took it to the dealer. They quoted her almost $1,000 to replace and program the airbag module. Somehow she found us, called and asked if we could do it. Sure, no problem, just sends the module. A couple days later go by and she calls me back and said, hey, where's the module? I'm gonna have my boyfriend take it out and send it to you. So I told her. Well, then they had difficulties trying to get the seat out. A couple phone calls later they finally got the module out. They did damage one of the bolts, so I'm gonna cover the correct tools to use in the shortcut to get it out. But if you're coming to this video wondering where the module is located, first off, it's underneath the driver's seat and all the 99 through 07 Classic trucks. Same with the SUVs from 2000 to 2006. I'm also going to go over the driver and passenger bag replacement or removal replacement. I'm not going to remove the actual passenger bag, just the fact that it take a little time to do it. But the driver's bag is going to come right out. But we'll give you the overview on how to take the driver bag out, or the passenger bag out, I should say. I'm just not going to remove it. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing to do to get the passenger bag out is you need to remove the two vents here and here. The easiest way to do that is this one here is broken, so it makes it nice and easy. You just grab on the inside, pull out. This one here is not broken. Let's see if we can wedge it back in there real quickly. Let's see. There we go. Just push the vent, grab your fingers in there, just pull it out like so. To get the passenger bag out, or I guess to get the grab bar out, there's two little locking tabs up on inside here. Little white clips. You can't see them, but you can feel them. Once those are out, you can push in a couple times and pull, and the whole grab bar comes out. Now, you're going to have 4 10mm bolts. 2 are right here, and then you'll have 2 from the bottom. The 2 from the bottom really aren't that hard to get. These 2 right here can be a real pain, even with taking the dash cap off, which is kind of a pain without having the airbag out, but you can still get it out. Even with taking the cap off, it's not going to really help you. You need to get a small 10mm wrench, get in there, and you're just gonna have to make little bitty turns just to get it out. The bottom, you can drop the glove box all the way down, and there's one right here and one right here. Take that out. You can pull it forward, just onto your connector, and pull it out. Now, with that being said, before you work in the airbag systems, obviously you should disconnect the battery and pull the SRS fuse. If you go ahead and pull the battery, you're more than likely safe, but if you pull the SRS fuse, that'd probably be the more correct way to do it. If you're me, I leave the battery plugged in and the SRS fuse in it. There was a video floating around with a whole bunch of people jumping down my throat where I had a truck that was running, that was wrecked, we had in the trailer, and I pulled the driver bag out with the truck running. Everybody said I was stupid. I pulled 1,000, one of them out, with never having a bag go off. Knock on wood, maybe I'm just lucky. But the correct way to do it, disconnect the battery. I think you're supposed to let it sit for 20 minutes, I think is what they say. I may post the information from all data. And then you're supposed to pull the SRS fuse, I think wait before the combination of 20 minutes. But regardless, as long as you disconnect the battery, you should be okay. Next, we're going to move the camera a little bit. I'm going to position it so you can see the steering wheel. And we'll go ahead and pull the steering bag out. Alright, so we're getting ready to remove the driver's airbag. You're going to need a tool like this, so just a flathead screwdriver, just a little screwdriver. That or a pick. If you use a pick, you may find when you stick the pick in, you'll slide past the spring mechanism. There's like a spring that locks the shaft of the, there's like 2 bars on each side of the airbag. And there's like an indention, a little spring slides into this indention. So what happens with a pick is usually it will slide right past the spring and it won't lock it. Sometimes with this you'll get the same effect and you'll have to rotate the the blade of the flathead. But you're gonna, you can't really see it probably in the video, but if you're looking at the steering wheel, on the side of the steering wheel, middle of the gear shifter, you will see there's a little bitty hole just big enough for the screwdriver to go into. That is where you're going to stick the screwdriver into on each side. There's one on each side of the bag. You stick it in there, pull at the bag, pull once it's sticked in there and you hit the spring, pull the bag out, go to the other side, pull it out. Then you can remove the whole bag. You'll have your 2 or 1 wires, or 2 connectors or 1 connector. Go ahead and unclip those, and then you can replace your new bag. Just reverse the install. Obviously you won't have to put the screwdriver in there, you can just click it into place. Now the bag is removed, you can go ahead and unclip your clips for the airbag. You'll see it's a half-ton bag, got 2 clips. On the newer style trucks, I know the 07 to 09 won't do it, but I think a lot of the newer trucks, you'll find these, after a bag has gone off, you'll find that these connectors have melted to the clock spring. I believe they sell replacement connectors. That or you're going to have to replace the clock spring. But in these older style trucks, they never burn. Then if you have your new bag, and you can just hook back up the wires. Obviously they're color coordinated, they only go one way. And then you'll see that these are the shafts I'm talking about, and they have an indentation. And the spring that I was talking about locks into that little indentation. And then to reinstall it, just set it back in the holes, and then you'll click it back in. And that's all there is to it. Alright, the next step is to remove the seat. Unfortunately, there's not enough room for me to get the camera on the driver's side, so I'm going to show you how to remove the passenger side. Same process, just the opposite side. To do this, you're going to need a couple tools. The correct tool is an inverted Torx, which you can see right here. I have a snap-on set. I really like the snap-on set because it's got a little bit deeper of a socket. You can find these at most auto parts stores. I'm sure Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. I'm sure Craftsman carries them. They're probably not as well advertised as some of the other tools, but everybody should have them. But like I said, I really do like the snap-on set. If you're somebody that works on GM trucks a lot, the snap-on set is definitely a worthwhile investment. If you're just doing this once or twice and you'd like to get the right tool, any inverted Torx should work. You're going to need the E20 and I believe it's the E14 as the 2 sizes you're going to need for the inverted Torx. If you don't have the inverted Torx, you can use a size 15 and a size 11 socket. If you're going to do it, I don't have one here. This is my 15. I don't have one handy, but if you're going to do it, use an impact socket. The reason I say that is because the ears on these bolts strip very easily. If you strip these things, you're not gonna enjoy trying to remove it. So it's well worth the trip to go and get the correct inverted sockets or inverted Torx sockets. If you're going to use an 11 or a 15, definitely do it by hand and make sure the socket stays flush up and down and it's firmly contacted to the bolt. I've stripped these myself just being lazy. I think the snap-on set cost me like $230 and I use the impact to take them out. So like I said, if you're going to do it, don't use a chrome socket, use an impact socket, or get the correct socket. I know the lighting's not too good, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. The front is the larger of the 2 bolts, so it should be the E20, I believe. What I do is I put my inverted socket on the bolt first, then I take my extension, put my extension on it. That way I know that it's not going to go in an angle, it's going to be fully flush against the bolt. And then I drive her out with the impact. And if you're at home, you can do it by hand, but they do have Loctite on, so they are kind of a pain to remove. Alright, so I said there were bolts. The back is bolts, the front are nuts. I don't know if you can see that, if it's in focus there. Let's see if we can make it focus. Anyway, so these are the front, and you can see what I'm talking about on the teeth. They're really, really easy to strip. So, like I said, it's well worth the time to get the correct tool. Now we're going to slide the seat forward. You will have to have the seat all the way back to get the front ones out, obviously, because they are in the track. We're going to slide the seat forward, and then we'll remove the rears. Alright, so we're switching up to the E14 for the rear. You will not need an extension for the rear because you can get either your ratchet or your impact in there. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm going to leave it on the extension. Go ahead, set her in. Make sure it's got full contact. Zip it out. Alright, you'll see on the back, these are bolts, and you can see those ears on there on these rear ones too. They're real easy to strip. So like I said, if you're going to be using anything but the correct tool, as in a 15 and 11, just be very, very careful that you don't strip them out. And definitely, if you're going to do that, do them by hand, and definitely use an impact socket. Alright, since space is limited, I'm going to show you again on the passenger side. When you flip the seat forward, you'll have two plugs, or, well, on the passenger side you'll have two plugs. The driver's side you should only have one. On the big plug, you'll have a safety that plugs into the top of the plug here, just like that. You'll just have to pull that out, squeeze it, pull it out. Then you can tilt your seat forward, and then rotate out the alignment dowels, and you can pull the seat out. If you're going to pull the whole interior out just by chance, the driver's seat and the passenger seat have to come out first. The driver's seat and the passenger seat hold down the center seat. If you can, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's like little alignment dowels there that align the seat. Well, the jump seat goes in there first, and then the actual passenger seat and driver's seat bolt down and hold it all together. So in order to get that center seat out, you've got to take the passenger and driver's seat out first. I'm going to go pull the driver's seat and remove the jump seat, and then we'll get to where the module's located. Alright, now that the seats are out, you can see there was our one plug, and the mess of everything that accumulates under the driver and passenger seat. It's a wonderful beauty of getting to take these trucks apart after they've been wrecked, because you never know what you're going to find. But anyway, you'll see there's a flap here next to your rear air duct, if you have one, depending on what your truck was equipped with. Then you have this blue safety lock, which can always be a pain. Anyway, you'll pull that out of the connector lock. Then you'll release the connector from the module itself. Pull that off. Set that to the side, or kind of pull it out of your way. You'll have three 10mm bolts that hold this thing on. If you have a carpeted truck, it's a little bit easier than this plastic floor truck. We're probably going to rip this a little bit. The only thing I will tell you is if you're going to remove this module, I've never had this happen to me, but one of my buddies happened to take one of these out of a truck that was powered up and used an impact on it, and it blew the bags. So if you're going to be removing this, I would definitely have the power to the truck or the battery, the negative cable unhooked. I don't think I've ever pulled one of these with the airbag still in the car, or with the power still hooked up. Airbags all the time, airbag modules never. So anyway, just be forewarned, you should definitely have the power unhooked. Anyway, you'll have three 10mm bolts to remove. I guess I'm going to go ahead and remove this trim too, to see if I can slide it up a little bit. Try and do this without breaking the clips. On these plastic trim pieces, they have little clips in the back, and if you pull them too gently, you can leave it in there. If you pull it too quickly, you can leave the clip in there. Sometimes it breaks the plastic around it. once you've done a few and you broke a few, you kind of figure out the method of getting them out of there correctly, or getting them out of there without breaking them, or at least leaving the clip in the panel. Man, this thing is dirty. Wet under this mat too. I can only imagine what kind of stuff is growing under here. Alright, so now we got to the module. I'm going to rip this insulation back a little bit. And you can do this while the seat is still in the car. It's way more difficult. But you can do it with a seat in the car. You'll have to come back here, pry up. If you got carpet, it's a little more flexible than this rubber floor. But you can get the socket underneath there and feel around. You can see this is the way it sits in there. You got two at the front, one at the back. Obviously this is going to be your easiest one to get. But you can get in there and remove it with a small socket and a ratchet. It's just not very fun. So much easier, a little more time consuming, but it's so much easier than having to fight it. Alright, so there's the removal. Obviously after that you'd send it to us and we clear it, you throw it back in. Obviously your deployment code has been removed. If you have any questions about any of the processes we've covered here today, most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. I'll try and get the price on the snap-on sockets or the inverter Torx from my snap-on man, Mr. Cliff. Snap-on's proud of everything he got. I want to say I paid around $230 for them. Like I said, if you're only going to use them once, you can get them anywhere. If you're going to be doing this a lot, or if you work on cars in general, or if you work on GM trucks in general, you know, almost every car that we build, I'm pulling the seats out of to clean underneath the carpets, or pull the carpet to clean the carpet. It's well worth having the right tools. Because if you strip one of these guys out, either the bolt or the nut, you are not going to like life for a while. It's the space you have to work with is so difficult to try to get in there. If you were to have to cut this off or try to drill it out, I've never drilled one out, but I would imagine since it's a seat belt or a seat bolt, I'm pretty sure it's probably made it a little difficult to try to remove or try to drill out. I'm sure anything safety-wise, they've had to over-engineer it. But it's pretty straightforward. Remove the seat, unplug the plug the seat, unplug the module. Make sure you unplug your power first, obviously. Unplug your module, send it to us. As soon as we get it, we clear it, turn it around same day, put it back in the mail to you. You have it in 2 or 3 business days. Put it back in, airbag lights out, and you're going back down the road without that annoying airbag telltale staying on saying service airbag, service airbag. If you have any questions, drop us a line or give us a call, 636-795-6960.